Hi, this is David Filippo, the left-handed right-winger again. And yes, I am a gamer. I didn't kind of mention it so much, but yeah, that's kind of what this video is. Probably what I think my favorite, at least of current games are. I mean, of course, I go way back and probably was much more of a gamer then. Back to Super Mario Brothers. I think I was a little late for Atari, but I did try some of the kind of emulator games recently. It's at its point. It's a kind of a developing baby in the way as far as the gaming industry, but Nintendo had its moments. I mean, maybe I'll talk more about it in more videos, but yeah, Super Mario Brothers. That was like the big thing, and of course, Super Mario Brothers 3 was another big one. And of course, there's a lot of various Nintendo games that were kind of cool growing up. And I was a Sega Genesis guy. I like Sega Genesis. And then kind of skipped the Nintendo for Super Nintendo and went right to PlayStation. And that's where I've come now, where a lot of my core games from the play gone. Metal Gear Solid, at least the first 4. We'll talk a little more about some discernings about that series, where it's gone. It's a great series to start. It's kind of gone downhill for me a little bit, and I'll explain more why in another video. And then, of course, I did mention in another video the Back to the Future video game, which is why it could be a part 4, part 5 sort of movie. The gameplay is kind of tedious, kind of annoying, but because it kind of really involves the kind of the story of Back to the Future, keeps it going. It's really done well. It's really good. We'll talk about that. I could talk about it more in another video. I did kind of mention the gist of it. That it's just really good. As far as continuing the story, otherwise gameplay, it's okay. But and of course the Grand Theft Auto series, big fan. I've been playing that since Grand Theft Auto 3. I didn't try the first 2 yet, but Grand Theft Auto 3 I got in. I never get I think I got it for the first time like in '98, and I was a kid. Just my brother and I were playing it. We're laughing at the fact that you can't believe how realistic stuff you have to do, and it's kind of because the innocence of thing, and I think that's we'll talk more maybe about the violence and gaming. And the truth is, if you are a stable person, you can kind of play this stuff and get kind of relief at the fact that this is it's not real, it's fiction, it's fantasy, and yeah, you may do these things in the game, but you're not going to do them in real life. You have no desire in real life, but it can kind of be a release, just kind of see what you can do. That you may not want to do in real life and have no desire to do, but kind of see, and then kind of laugh at it. It's like a cartoon. It's fiction. It's not real. It's not real in any way. Yeah, you may try to identify as real, but that's it's just a game. It's just a game. And they've gone a long way with it. They've gone so much. Like Rockstar Games has done some really cool stuff as far as the the technology, the realism. The gameplay, they keep making it better and better every time. I almost find even San Andreas was one of the places a little bit harder to play now because it's the gameplay, but it's still all right. Vice City's a little dated. The third one is really dated as far as gameplay, but even what they call Grand Theft Auto 4, with the whole Nico Bellic story is really good. Really good. I still play that one sometimes. The 5th one is really well involved. I love the whole 3-character play. They really, especially even more so than the 4th one, they really got something in the realism. Like if you fall, you can really get busted up and hurt and die in the game. They really try to get a lot of the reality in there. And that's what kind of brings me to the source of this video, which is probably my favorite. Merely because like I told you, I'm a big fan of Back to the Future. One thing I always thought would be kind of cool if they, and some people have done this too on YouTube, they've made videos where it's like Grand Theft Auto Hill Valley, where it's they take like a Back to the Future, they modded a DeLorean, looking like the time machine in Back to the Future, and they drive it around and they essentially time travel with it. I don't know exactly how real the time travel is, if it just, they pick a setting and it kind of looks like it. But the idea is really cool, and somebody even made a video, and I wish I could quote the guy, it was kind of fun. They took the Nico Bellic character, and they took audio from the Back to the Future movies, I think even the Back to the Future video game, and made it sound like Nico Bellic is in a Back to the Future story, and sort of time traveling around. There's some kind of gaps in it, because you can tell he's not really time traveling, it's the settings in the game, and they're made to play like he's time traveling. But he makes it interesting and compelling because he gets Doc Brown in there and it's real audio from, I don't know if there's a licensing thing, if they legally audio from from Universal, but they did it, and they did it well. I wish I could think. I think it's like, Back to, it's actually a sequel, because there's a Back to San Andreas, which is kind of a Back to the Future one. Wasn't really done as well. But then there's another one, and I don't know why I can't think of the name of it, but it's like Grand Theft Auto Back to the Future, and it's Nico Bellic this time. And this was done much better. Really, I don't know if they're gonna do another one like that, but it was pretty good. But anyway, it got me to thinking, what an idea if you kind of did like, kind of went back to the West, the Wild West, instead of Grand Theft Auto, do what the equivalent, horse thieving. And I started Googling Grand Theft Horse, and a game of ours, and it doesn't have time travel, but it's Red Dead Redemption, which is essentially a Western version of Grand Theft Auto. It takes place in 1914, but, there's definitely a lot of Wild West. So you can ride on horseback, learn how to tame the horse, what to ride a wild horse, get them stable, kind of a lot of all the elements of the Wild West. I think they cut out the disease aspect. You can't really get sick, but they put in a lot of the kind of the fun, more kind of gameplay. Ride on horseback, kind of what happened back in the day. If you broke a crime, there wasn't just police. There was a bounty on your head, and you either had to pay it or you'd fight them off. And of course, there's kind of standard missions and things like that, and he kind of got in the gameplay of the Wild West. And it's an interesting story with the whole John Marston, in his story. No spoiler alert. It's kind of sad how it worked out in the end. I would have liked kind of a more happy ending, but that's a kind of typical Western thing. It's not always a happy ending like that. But they do so well in the gameplay. The landscape is fun. You go from a desert to forest wilderness to Mexico. I think they call it Mexico. I don't know if it's a real Mexico in the sense of it, but just the whole landscape. It's really, 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 really well done. They did a phenomenal job in this, and I can't wait for the sequel. And even still, they sort of made, I didn't realize it was like an add-in, but they made this Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, which is really just an add-on pack. You'd think it'd be some kind of crappy kind of little stuff, but it's almost like a sequel in of itself. They did it so well. And it's an idea I never thought of before. I really thought it was interesting. There was I can't think of the name of the movie now. It was okay, but it was a movie that had Liam Neeson in it. Why can't I think of it? It was like kind of a Western meet space invasion movie, and I don't know why I can't think of the name now. If you want to tell me in the comments. But it was a movie where it was like it was a Western, but they were invaded by space aliens. The whole big story about that, because you never think about, what happened if there were space aliens invading, and it wasn't a great movie, but the idea was there, and it was workable. I sat through it. I kind of liked it. It wasn't great, but I kind of liked it, and it got me thinking, well, what would the other thing they never did in a Western? And that is, you never think of a zombie invasion in a Western, and they do it in this little pack that you can add on to your Red Dead Redemption, and add the Undead Nightmare, and it's John Marston again. I'm guessing it takes place before the ending of the original, but when he gets to I think it's Beecher's farm, where he lives with his wife and his son, and they live on. It's somewhere in that middle aspect there, where all of a sudden there's a zombie apocalypse, and John Marston is there to kind of save the day and protect and kind of save everybody from the potential zombie apocalypse. And they kind of get some interesting aspects in here with a different type of zombies or walkers, because I'm a fan of Walking Dead, as I mentioned, and they really get into it and do it well. It's just incredible. It's a great game. If you haven't played it yet, again, I gotta say, you probably want to live on a rock, but it's probably my favorite, because I'm a history guy, and I like the West. I like these Grand Theft Auto type games, and to have it tied into Western. Only way they could do it better, like I said, if they had like a Back to the Future style thing where you could time travel, go back to various times, and all of a sudden be doing the same stuff, but in a different time period. Hell, if they had a game where you could go back into like the gangster era, the 1920s, 1930s, with a Tommy gun and hot rodder, and just drive around, kind of do that kind of stuff, it would be wild. I'd love to see it. Or even maybe get interesting, go back in the times of the American Revolution, and kind of make up some sort of, I don't know what kind of crime there was then, but kind of make something to kind of tie into it. You could make something up. I mean, they're all fictional stories to tie something in, and it could be interesting. I mean, it would be tough trying to do a fight with a flintlock. Trying to load that sucker, you know, while you're in battle. Oh, they did something like that in Grand Theft Auto. You can actually, there's a in the Undead Nightmare part of it, you can load a blunderbuss, you know, which is like a very high-powered flintlock with not flintlock, but I think it's percussion cap, but it just really, you shove everything in there and you blast it, and it's really a high-powered weapon. And there's a great joke too. It seems modern. Like, I don't know if they would have said it that like, you know, because it takes place like in 1914-ish. He makes a line, what is it, 1850? You know, and because he's getting a blunderbuss. I think there's a joke about that with the hot air balloons too. What is 1850? It's just a lot of fun. Check it out, and check out the others too. I mean, I'll do a video talking about in detail about Grand Theft Auto and Metal Gear. I definitely want to talk about Metal Gear Solid, but Red Dead Redemption is just really cool. Got a minute? Check it out. Talk later.